Starfield is dead. Oh, that's so surprising. How could that happen?
Hey, do you remember a game called Starfield?
No.
No? Not ringing a bell? I get where you're coming from. Well, that's just the thing. Nobody's playing it. And so
True.
this Xbox exclusive is becoming very, very less exclusive.
Bro.
Hi everyone, it's Az here from Heel vs. Babyface. It's been
Hello, Az.
about 5 months or so since the release of Starfield, and there was a guy who I know who might have had a little bit of something to say about it at the time. There is nothing I love more. Taking my headphones off. Bethesda, there is nothing I love more than to fire up a brand new RPG, lose myself.
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what?
Pronouns!
And he's still right. And everyone was right. Because the game was clearly shit from the trailers.
Now that rant occurred about 7 or so hours into the game, actually on the second part of the playthrough of Starfield that I was doing at the time. Why did I get so sick? Well, it was just the stupidness of the game. The fact that we had that ridiculous bit at the beginning because some people can't open their pants and see what they got inside of it, and then
Which ridiculous bit at the beginning, because the whole game is kind of like really, really bad. At the beginning, at the midway, at the end. You need to be way more specific as about that part, okay?
the game itself was, well, for want of a better phrase, boring! But that's just...
I would argue it was more stupid than boring. And more tedious than boring. Honestly, when we're talking about Starfield, I think Starfield's best quality could be described as the fact that it was just boring. Because everything else is just way worse about it.
We had the nonsense at the beginning, this boring ass 7 hours of gameplay, and then the straw that broke the donkey's back was talking to some chick who was telling me that she was a clone of a dude.
As long as the credits keep rolling in,
That's not exactly called a clone, typically.
life's good.
And to be honest with you, that was enough. I then proceeded to play the game for another 19 hours, and it
Hey, I gave up 4 hours into the game. They're just that bad. It was a loading screen simulator with not a single shred of dialogue. That makes sense. Nothing made sense. The early game is literally you going to the main city right away, and then it tells you to go to other cities for no reason, and it's horrible.
never got any better. The game was, well,
Garbage.
take it away, Az. After that, there has been no inclination whatsoever to return to the game because it's not fun. Simple as. Some people online...
As I said, Starfield is unsavable because you can't rewrite every portion of the dialogue. You can't just completely remake the talent point system, the skill trees, the non-existent gameplay, the boring planets, and the loading screens. You can't get rid of that. And the worst part, obviously, the storyline. Oh god, the storyline is so horrible.
I decided that that was a really good opportunity to try and have a go, try and get a cancellation attempt going. Look at this middle-aged, bald, white boy having a go at the far left sacred cow. Hell, even Mr. Bean's gay lover, who had just come out of a cancellation attempt to pull down his channel for speaking his mind, also decided to get in on the
Yeah, good times. We watched that video. Act Man is wild.
fun. I got myself a nickname because of him. The Silverback. He got one as well. Act Mam.
True. He's still Act Man, by the way.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
No, it's all good fun and games. Don't you worry about it, chat. The simple fact of the matter was that the discourse surrounding Starfield was, and I'm not trying to be egotistical here, at me.
Have you ever shoved anything in your own ass? Of course. Duh.
I love this clip so much because there is literally not even a split second of hesitation. It's like, completely normal. It's a normal question. It's a normal response, and it's not the first time or the 25th millionth time that she was asked this. It's like a daily occurrence. Instead of saying hello to her, people just ask that. Great.
It was around that rant. It had nothing to do with Starfield as a game. It's gameplay. It's fun. It's excitement. It's incredible universe. No, the discourse was about a dude.
I don't know if I would ever call the Starfield universe incredible. Seems pretty dull, dreary, and bad.
That lost his shit because he's sick and tired of current deisms in a game that was the first brand new IP from this.
Oh, he's gonna enjoy Indiana Jones, isn't he? Az is gonna love Indiana Jones because that thing looks as bad as it can. Admittedly, I saw what he said. I watched the Critical Drinker thing, but I think Az was there, yeah. And I don't know. They looked at the game footage and thought it doesn't look that bad. Well, I looked at the game footage and I thought it's an absolute disaster area.
Once great company in 20 years being once more with feeling as boring. The ultimate hilarity being that the Portlandian land whales that were trying to have a go at me were having a go because of the pronoun rant and the gender ideology rant. They weren't having a go at me because of Starfield. Nobody cared about Starfield because
Obviously.
the game wasn't good.
These are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings.
5 months after the launch of the game, I can post up a nice little bit of bait on Twitter and get a response like this. Love, he sees this as a win. That's because it is. You
Yeah. I also see that as a win. It just makes sense.
fucked hard. So, okay, that's a typical exchange on social media. But here's the hilarity of this little situation. By the way, how's Starfield doing these days? I don't know. I've never played it.
What the hell even is this cranid? Cranid on here? Is that like a thing? Is that like a...
To a modern gaming audience.
Have you ever shoved anything in your own ass? Of course. Duh.
In fact, the detractors in the comment section are more interested in sticking phallic objects into my mouth, which, by the way, is Digital Grape, and I've reported you to the complete and utterly legitimate West Yorkshire Police Department. You know, the one that's affiliated with Roblox. But none of them, absolutely
He's British, it's true.
none of them are defending Starfield in any way, shape, or form. Because it was never about Starfield. It was always about their ideology being pissed on, and Starfield is crap. So let's now...
Well, to be fair, there are Bethesda fans who actually do think that Starfield is a great game, because think about, oh, you got sandwich physics, the game has physics, wow, amazing. You can travel to so many different planets, look at this extremely unique location that's 1 out of 1,000, and nothing else looks like that because it's 1 out of 1,000, and you know, everything else is bad.
Rewind the clock, shall we, to June of 2023. Bethesda exec explains why Starfield being Xbox exclusive is a good thing. After all, Microsoft bought Bethesda so that they could take their catalog of games going forward and start to make them
Again, the only hope that the world currently has is that Microsoft does the reasonable thing and just dissolves Bethesda, doesn't allow anyone in Bethesda to work on anything Bethesda game related, because yeah, we know how that turns out. Not great.
Xbox exclusive, something which the Xbox had had a trouble with in the past, getting those exclusive titles and to compete against Sony's PlayStation. Bethesda's head of publishing, Pete Hines, has provided a reason why the upcoming spacefaring RPG Starfield, being an Xbox exclusive, is actually a good thing. Despite some gamers creating a petition to bring Starfield to PlayStation 5, that's most definitely not going to happen. And there are a couple of explanations for that decision. The first reason being the aforementioned acquisition of Bethesda by Microsoft, and then the second reason, there's no question in my mind, this is a quote, that being able to focus on fewer platforms to support, hardware to support, has been a big benefit to the team. In other words, not worrying about the idiosyncrasies of two console ecosystems has allowed the developers to work more efficiently, and quality assurance can get in more rounds of testing when there is only one platform.
If only Bethesda had quality assurance to begin with. I mean, they have a point. Allowing the game to be only on one platform technically saved the other platform, which is PlayStation, from having an absolute shit dropped on its head. It's true. Because, hey, Bethesda can't optimize their games for any platforms. Concentrating just on Xbox, we saw how that ended. Terrible performance, terrible outdated graphics, and now 5 months later, what do we get? Nothing. We got improved lighting that no one even knows is it better or worse than what it was previously, because some places just look worse now. It's great. It's great. No, they didn't even have graphics card support or whatever whatever it's called, DLSS or something like that. They couldn't even make that work. Nvidia had to come in and make that work for Starfield. It's a travesty.
Form to deal with, Hines explained, citing an example of putting 100 testers on an Xbox build versus splitting the workforce in two. Now, you can test a game and you can make sure that it runs fine and there are no bugs, but it's Bethesda, so that's bullshit for a start.
Yeah.
But one thing that you can't fix.
And let's remember, Starfield was quoted as the least buggy Bethesda title ever, which still makes it in the category of here's a safety helmet and remember, don't hit your head against sharp corners type of situation for children.
Oh my god, we're gonna have to put it in again. Is boring! You simply can't fix boring. And currently this Asterpiece sits at mixed reviews overall with nearly 93.5.
Oh, it actually is supposed to be, it's a masterpiece. Mostly negative, let's go. Again, new people who have not heard of Starfield, who don't even know what Bethesda is, are trying the game, and they're just, well, obviously the average person is not gonna like Starfield. The average person hates Starfield, in fact, and they just leave a negative thing. The only reason Starfield was positive at the start is the Bethesda fanboys. The Bethesda fanboys are always gonna first thing go and upload it on PC, because Bethesda fanboys first the platform they choose is the one with mods. AKA, well, for Starfield, obviously, it's at the start PC. So they uploaded Starfield to be the greatest thing ever. And now the truth slowly but surely seeps in. As the average player plays this thing, doesn't probably get in 3 or 4 hours in, and just, yeah, this is shit. Then they leave a negative review, say this is boring, and you know what then happens? Bethesda's ChatGPT response comes in and calls them stupid for not playing the game right, which is a great strategy, Bethesda. Keep going.
1,000 of them provided, and also the most recent reviews, which has been this way for quite some time, sits at mostly negative.
Yep.
So where therefore
it's been sitting at mostly negative for like a month or two at this point, by the way.
What do Microsoft go from here? Well, I'm sure the modders will sort it out, don't you worry.
As long as the credits keep rolling in, life's good.
Starfield multiplayer modders give up because the game is trash.
We already know this. A lot of modders gave up because Todd Howard can't stop lying. Todd Howard said that this is the best moddable game in the history of gaming. In reality, it's actually the worst Bethesda game, as much as I understand, for modding, because it has the most problems. It's crazy.
So the modding team has decided not to bother with the game. Explaining more on their Discord server, the team said, quote, I didn't realize until after I actually started playing the damn game a week after launch, the game is boring, bland, and the main draw of Bethesda games, exploration in a lively and handcrafted world, was completely gone.
Non-existent even. Again, this is a Bethesda game for the legends. This is a space exploration game without any space to explore. This is a roleplay game without any real roleplay elements. This is a shooter with the worst shooting mechanics possible, because either it's a damage sponge or you shoot a guy one time and he instantaneously topples down, like, you know, he sees his life flashing besides dead eyes. And yeah, it just doesn't have anything. It's a base builder without a base. You're a space explorer who doesn't explore space. Every planet already is explored. Worst part, there's these mystical landmarks where you're supposed to get your spaceborne powers. And guess what? You go to that location and off there in the distance, not even too far, literally 2 steps that way, there's some kind of mining colony that for some reason never bothered to actually check out why the hell are there rocks floating in the air in this strange location that clearly doesn't look natural. I wonder. Also, let's not forget the fact that you can scan planets. And the idea that these temples have fucked up gravity and things like that means that if anyone scans the planet, they instantaneously find a temple because there's a gravity anomaly there. Ain't that great? But no. Let's not think about that. Let's think about realism. Oh, yeah, right. It's all realistic, Todd Howard said. We want it to be realistic. I don't know which part of Starfield is supposed to be realistic. I'm pretty sure no part of Starfield is supposed to be realistic.
Final word from the mod team seems to sum up many feelings. I won't be continuing development on Starfield together. I'm not going to put my heart and soul into a mod for a game as mediocre as this. That's why 5 months later, I've still got the flagged pronoun weirdos after me, because to them it was never about the game. It was always about the attack on their ideology, the game itself.
Well, technically, they're actually the winners in this case, if you think about it, because at least they're not eating shit double. They're just eating shit one time.
Starfield, there's no discourse around it. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Starfield, which...
To be honest, I care about Starfield a lot because I love talking about this disaster, and I can't wait for the new expansion, Shattered Space, to come out because it's gonna be amazing. I can feel it. It's gonna be amazing.
Leads us to here. Exclusive. Microsoft plans Starfield launch for PlayStation 5. The ultimate
give up. Yup, the ultimate disaster.
Signal of defeat by Microsoft.
Yep.
For weeks now, rumors have persisted regarding Microsoft's intentions to release a number of first-party games on rival platforms. That list of games also includes Bethesda Game Studios' Starfield. According to sources, we understand that currently Microsoft is planning a launch for Starfield on PlayStation 5 post the release of their already announced Shattered Space expansions for the Xbox and PC. We've also been informed that Microsoft have made additional investment into PlayStation 5 dev kits to support ongoing development efforts, adding further fuel to the fire. Releasing Starfield on PlayStation 5 contradicts the original statement around exclusivity made by President of Xbox Sarah Bond during the Xbox and Bethesda Game Studios Summer Showcase of 2021. This to me boils down to 2 major factors. Number 1, the mitigated failure of the Xbox in this current console generation. I'll also add the PlayStation 5 to that as well. I think both of them have been massively underwhelming indeed. And secondly,
they're always underwhelming. It is what it is. Consoles are pretty much always underwhelming. The next generation of consoles is gonna be 5 years, a step back 5 years from what you can already have in a PC. for 100%. It always is. Consoles just kind of keep gaming back a lot.
The absolute failure of Starfield. Microsoft bought Bethesda Game Studios to grab these exclusivities going forward to elevate the Xbox. However, it's failed miserably. Bethesda have failed miserably, and Starfield as an ongoing franchise has failed miserably. Putting it on the PlayStation 5 will shift some more copies. Will it save Starfield?
Obviously not. Dude, man, it's just, it is just giving up. It is giving up in the most brutal fashion possible. The game that you bought a company for 8 billion or whatever you bought Bethesda for, and Microsoft is like, oh yeah, we just literally burnt that money, didn't we? Oh wow, it's going great now. Oh, but at least, oh wait, Blizzard's also just setting out money ablaze. Oh, isn't this great? Yeah, not great.
No, not in the slightest. Because now people on the PlayStation can see how bland and boring and vacuous and empty the game actually is. All it had to do was come at the cost of the Fallout franchise and the Elder Scrolls franchise. Because who gives a
True. Again, people are now looking at Elder Scrolls 6 and they're worried. Some of them are not gonna buy it. Some of them are gonna wait until they buy it because of how bad Starfield is. I have never seen this before. I have never seen a game company fuck up so tremendously with something that it literally affects their next franchise because people are afraid because they know that it's gonna be there's a chance that it's gonna be the exact same situation as this. It's crazy. Also, in Elder Scrolls 6, what kind of powers are we gonna have? Dragonborn powers again, do you think? Probably. I mean, Bethesda currently can't make a game without Dragonborn powers. That's fun.
fuck about them, eh? I'll see you in the next video. You take care.
Yeah, that was Az from Heel versus Babyface. What an absolute mad lad and Giga Chad. Anyway, it is what it is. Starfield, not looking good. Still, obviously, it never looks good. It looks horrible all the time. Anyway, this was Citizen. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye bye.